Hey everyone, my name is Wahid Lutfi. Today I'm going to show you another session, and I'm super excited to just bring you this video with Linux, Ubuntu, and Windows operating system, both combined. I'm going to show you the operating systems, command line syntax, and then show you some examples of how to run Linux commands as well as Windows. And also I'm using IPython, Interactive Python, Python, and Jupyter Lab to demonstrate how you can run inside of Python the operating system commands, as well as when you're inside of Interactive Python, how you do it, and when you're inside Jupyter Labs, how you do it. To just finish this video, as a summary, what I would do is on the Linux side, I will demonstrate IPython and Python, and then on the Windows side, I demonstrate Jupyter Lab, and that way you can just understand both operating system as well as all the Python interpreter and then the resources or tools that are available for you to just run it programmatically the same commands. So you can write some API calls and then do the work that you want to do and accomplish a task that you need to finish. So this is mainly for developers and students that are learning Python operating system like Linux and Windows and Interactive Python in Jupyter Lab. And if you're one of those people, you're welcome to just join us on the YouTube channel, which is my Web University for Educational Videos. I'm going to just continue with the presentation right now. So, and the learning objective is you're going to learn the Linux and Windows operating system commands, and I will show you some of the documentation that I have already presented to you in the previous videos that they're all online for you for PDF formats, and then you can just and learn them all online without having a Windows operating system or Linux operating system installed on your machine. So you basically go to my website and then just read the PDF file and start learning. And it's all on the browser side. So your favorite browser could help you a lot. Run Linux command using Python. We're going to just use the Python idle and then show you how to run the Linux command inside Python interpreter. And then I'm going to also show you same thing with running Linux commands with interactive Python, which is IPython. Just one word of caution, and that you have to know whenever you're using Linux operating system, command lines and then the arguments that you pass is all case sensitive. So make sure that if it's uppercase, the command, you type it in uppercase. If it's lowercase, you type it in lowercase. One character is uppercase or lowercase. Make sure that case sensitivity is taking place on your command line syntax as well as inside your Python arguments that you pass into the method of the operating system or other kind of aliases that you use inside IPython or Jupyter Lab. So, but Windows operating system, everything is changing to uppercase, so case sensitivity is not important. You can just do it on either case, whether lowercase or uppercase, it will work as long as you type in the right name and the right argument. So these pictures that I showed you earlier, I just took it from free download images, and all the credits are given to those companies that they provide, including Linux Ubuntu, IPython, Interactive Python, Python, Jupyter Lab, and Windows, Microsoft Windows, which is not open source, but they provide these kind of downloads so students and developers could just see what they're learning, and it's a better kind of like logo that just instead of a text that I could write. So it makes the presentation also look nicer, and that's I appreciate for them that They provide these images for free and full credit given to them. The same thing that here we're just going to discuss. So in order to get help on Python, you just type in Python dash dash help. And then in order to get help on Python, you just do IPython dash dash help. And then same thing with Jupyter, you just type in Jupyter dash dash help. And the case sensitivity, again, based on the Unix operating system, you have to write it all lowercase, and then on Windows, it doesn't matter whether you write it lowercase or uppercase, it would work. And so the case is not sensitive. And then the same thing with the Python version. To get the Python version, you type in Python dash dash version, and then IPython and dash dash version, and then Jupyter and dash dash version. Again, on the Linux side, all lowercase, no uppercase, and then for Windows, doesn't matter, case sensitive. And then when you start Python, basically on the command prompt, you type in Python. If you want to install start IPython, you just type IPython, and then for the Jupyter Lab, you just say Jupyter Space Lab. So I'm going to do some lab session for Python, for IPython, for Jupyter Lab. Python and IPython will be shown on Linux platform, and Jupyter Lab will be shown on Windows platform. So we cover all platforms, equally important. As a summary, and this video, you will when this video is finished and you watch to the end of it, you will learn how to execute Linux, Windows operating system commands, as well how to run Python and run Linux commands, as well as run Linux command inside IPython, and as well as run Windows command inside Jupyter Lab. This is what the objective of that this video is. I'm going to thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe our channels. If you like to see more videos like this, please subscribe at youtube.com/@mywebuniversity. At My Web University is our channel kind of handle. So make sure that you go there and watch our videos. And this is the channel, My Web University Free Education videos. And then I have all the videos. Yesterday, I just made this video for Windows operating system only, no Linux. And then I just thought that, well, I could add the Linux operating system as well. And this time, instead of demonstrating all of them on Windows, I'm going to use Python and then IPython to do it on Linux, as I showed you on the video. And then the rest of them will be on Windows with Jupyter Lab. So here's some of the documentation that you can get in. So if you go to my website, which is mywebuniversity.com, I have a lot of resources, more than 66,000 technical documentation on HTML pages, and then about 8,000 on PDF pages. So this all the documentation are available. And if you're looking for it, you can just come in here. You click here and then just go to this book. It says The Direct Path to Linux Ubuntu. To learn the entire Linux Ubuntu, I have written about 8 chapters. Each chapters start from introduction to basics level, to intermediate level, to advanced level, to shell scripting, and then web programming like Apache scripting, and then Apache website, not the script, and shell scripting. So, and then these documentation on HTML page, as well as Linux Ubuntu PDF files. So the Linux Ubuntu PDF file, and this one, I'm going to show you that one. If I click on this one, basically it's going to take me to the same page that I was telling you about Linux Ubuntu. There's about 6,600 technical documentation here, and it is section 1 through section 9. You can see all the sections are there. So it's very, very kind of comprehensive documentation. in terms of like every section is put into a nice table here. So all you have to do is just come to the section. If you're looking like section 5 for LDAP, and just light out a directory access protocol hierarchical database for just storing information. And then you can see that LDAP is coming here, and then you read the manual page for LDAP. Whatever number of pages is here, let's see, it's 20 pages long. Some of them could be 400 pages long, and then you just have to just read them. If, like, for example, you're looking for bash scripting, and then just understand, say that, okay, let me just do a control F here and search for bash. So bash built-ins are there, and then you can see 6 out of 6. So you could just click on here next, or bash, and then we have uh, other ones. So let's say we are looking at the bash born again shell. This is the born shell was SH, and then bash was the enhanced version of SH and corn shell, and then this is called bash born again shell. And then this one, you can see that it is huge, 269 pages. So all the if statement, for statement that you want to learn inside the bash is in this PDF files. And that prompt shell 1, prompt shell 2 that we could show you also on the operating system. All of these ones are available inside every interpreter, in this case, bash interpreter. If you're looking for Python interpreter, obviously, you just control F here and then just search for Python. Python 3 comes in and just read that documentation. So this is about the Linux documentation that's available on my website for you. So you could just don't have to buy a Linux book or a Linux manual or something. It's all online for you for free. You just go there. The open source community is very generous, and I was very generous also to write this entire program in Python, and then made that text version to HTML version, as well as to PDF version. So, and made it available on my website. On this website, basically, I'm paying on a monthly basis to have a Linux server on the cloud, and I'm providing you this documentation for free. You're welcome to just join our channel and start learning. So this is for Windows operating system. You can bookmark here the help underscore PDF, and then start learning everything about Windows that you want to learn. So this is all the table of contents for help commands. As you can see that there's about 63 commands. So if you're looking for a command like, let's say, find a string that does search for a string inside a file or a directory or another command, typing it to it. So you can see it is very intuitive. And the way I just have details on the top of it, I said I use Python, the Windows command lines, and then FPDF library generator to generate this one. And this full credit is given to all these 4 companies, including my web university, which is my company, that I just provide you these resources on the internet for free. So just you're welcome to just join us, and then just start learning again. So let's say another command. If I just go, for example, I say, how do you do a for statement in Linux or Windows in this case? You see here that it's case sensitive, because I wrote programmatically for every command that I run the help for, and then I just say help. In this case is a for statement, and the syntax for the for statement is provided. Similarly, if I just look for the if statement here, let's look at the if statement here, and then just notice that the page changes. So you are just using a browser, but you can see every syntax, it comes in dynamically based on the information. That's what the how powerful programming languages are, that you could just go and write it with some nice algorithm and some nice kind of uh, information that you want to just even make these interfaces look nicer. So, for example, let's look at the version. It's a small command. We can practice those commands also. And then you can see that when you type in the version, it tells you the display the Windows version. So if you look at the a little bit more detail, like let's say I'm looking for X copy. Again, if you're looking for the word that you don't find it, you can do, for example, Control F, and then let's say you search for move, and then right here the move is there. How to move one file or rename the file with another directory or something. So you could do those ones. And similarly, if you want to say, well, what's the difference between move and rename? So move is going to move it to a different location. Rename is going to rename the name of it. But with move, you can do both. So rename, if you just look at it, you see that the syntax is given here. So the other nice thing about this one, I just also did for those of you that are Windows like technical people that they are working on PowerShell. I also, if you're a developer and then you want to do PowerShell, there's let me just remove this one. It's inside the main directory, so PowerShell, and then this one is for PowerShell. You can see for PowerShell is about 1394 hundred files, then 1394 files on PDF format. So you can just do this one. So if you're looking for like a git bash process, then you can just search for Control F and then click on it, and you will get the git bash process in PDF format. Again, I give full credit to and above companies, and then this is the documentation that I brought you for you online. So you don't have to be in front of a Windows machine running a PowerShell in order to start learning, reading these documentation. All you need is a browser, internet, and come to my website and bookmark this site for this documentation. Powerful PowerShell PDF. They are powerful, each one of them. So you could just start learning. Now we have talked about these documentation. Let's come in and back to the Linux environment and then see that how that documentation, when you learn it and you understand it, how you can just be in front of a Linux machine, you can actually run these commands. And in fact, also I made, let me just show you one more thing on my website. Let me go here. So when you go to my website, the main page, as I showed you here, I have given you this book and the direct path to Linux Ubuntu. This book is kind of formatted in a nice way that if you're a novice user, you could start going to chapter 2 to learn Linux basic commands. And then if you are intermediate, go to chapter 3. If you're advanced, go to chapter 4. So, and if you're kind of like already know all of these ones, you can come in chapter 5 and start practicing the commands. But if you are going in chapter 2, and then you just say, well, I'm just learning. I made it so simple. So if you're a novice, you could have these 33 commands on Linux and practice it online on my website. You don't have to have a Linux server. You don't have to have anything installed. All you need is a browser and internet access. You say, well, how does the calendar command works? You just type in, click on the calendar. Let me make this thing a little bit bigger so you can see it better. And then I'm going to go back here on the menu. So the calendar command that you click on, it automatically takes you to this interface. It says, what is cal command? Cal is going to tell you that display a calendar. And then I'm going to show you some examples here, and then also the manual pages. So if you just say click on the cal, you're a Windows person and you want to start learning, the whole command is going to run in my cloud, which is on my Linux server. Here's the command that you clicked on, and here's the output here. So this is how easy I made it for you to start learning, and then the output of your command is there. And then, and honestly, this thing is not on the internet at all. Nobody has made there because people are scared that somebody's going to hack them and they're going to just do it. But since I wrote this program in Python, I'm watching for all those kind of scenarios and making sure with 30 years of background in computer science and having 2 degrees and working at prestige companies, I am able to just make this thing possible for you guys so you could start learning, and then I'm not worried about it. For the past 23 years since I built this website, I have not been hacked, and thank God nobody is going to hack people that they're helping others. And there's no money involved here too. It's all it is documentation. I think even hackers they understand that one. But if you just don't make your site secure enough, there are people that they will hurt you. So make sure that you first secure it with HTTPS, and then secondly that some of the commands that are kind of harmless don't provide those commands. So I will show you that one for and the details of this. Let's say I go here and then I use the calendar command. On the calendar command, I mean cat command, and says that concatenate files, one or more files. And here is like a cat minus n. Minus n means show the line number, and you can see the 2 line numbers on the etc network file that it is there. And if I just concatenate more than one file, like 2 files, you could do that one by just separating by space here, cat etc network and etc os. So both files are shown here. And notice if I just do the same thing with the minus n option, there's no argument here, but I could have just done that one and then it would show line numbers there as well. And then here I'm going to just do one more things like a man on the cat. So if you want to find out the manual pages on the HTML files, I made this one so you could just get manual pages on it online. You don't have to have Linux or VMware or Docker or anything installed. All you need is a browser and internet. Just come in here and start learning. So if you'd say, what does the PWD do? You just get the output there. What is the man pages for uname? It will just show you that one. What is the man page for printf statement? You will see it. And if you say, show me the man page for section 3 of printf statement, you could do minus 3 S3 for section 3, and then all of a sudden, I'm providing the section 3 of it. So it's dynamic. It's not like whatever command you type in, you will get the output of it. So, as by the way, section 3 is for standard IO and .h header files, and all these methods and functions that are provided, printf, fs printf, all of them are available for you. And then if you want to say, how about system CTL? This command, you can just get the output for man system. How about system, the system, the system CTL is the command that I was looking for, journal D or journal system. If you don't have the command there, journal D, then it's going to be showing this because it did not find a command. Must be journal CTL. So journal CTL is the command, not journal D. Journal D is the daemon for it, but the journal CTL is the command. So you could just type in journal CTL and it's gonna do. Like firewall D is the daemon. Firewall dash CMD is the command. So firewall. Let me just do firewall dash CMD. So if firewall.cmd is not there because that's a Red Hat Linux, then you have to do Ubuntu firewall. Ubuntu firewall is there. This is a Ubuntu server, and then that way you can just get the proper firewall for it, and then get that information. So then again, this page, when you come in, you also have option of going to this PDF version, which I showed you already. I'm not going to go that one again, but let me just go to chapter 5, and that's why I came here. And chapter 5 is shell programming, but I provided this interface for you so you can start practicing these commands that you learn on my cloud Linux web server. So if you click in here, this interface that I provided execute the shell scripts. So you can run the actual shell script, or you could just run the Unix command or Linux command to say, what is the PWD do, print working directory? What is uname minus A? And so it shows you the operating system information here, uname dash my web university. How about the ls minus L? So inside a browser, you're executing Linux command here. How powerful is that one? There's no such thing on the internet as of today that somebody could just run the Linux commands inside a browser. Everything that is done, either you install Docker or the smallest size of a maybe container is just a Docker container that you can run and execute commands of operating system, whether it's Ubuntu or Red Hat or anything. A little bit bigger than that one is VMware kind of virtualization, or maybe Zone on Solaris or LDAM on Solaris, and then all these VMware stuff, everything, containerization, Docker, everything, they still need kind of like an operating system to be running, and then they still need a kind of like something to run on top of it, but nothing that you could just use a browser and then start learning. Yes, there are some other website that they provide, like for example, inside Jupyter Notebook, or that you can do like a Google search stuff. You can still run the operating system command inside a browser, but you're getting the help of Jupyter Lab or IPython or Interactive Python or Python or some other ones. So it is not like another interface like this. And I'm going to do this one just to show you some stuff. So let's say somebody wants to hack my site, and they want to just say, I want to remove everything that he has that has the extension of the CGI. And right away, I parse that code. And then just believe me that this is dynamic. It's not that I'm writing like rm minus rf star dot whatever name, whatever command that you type in. I just look at that command and then say, okay, command is not allowed. If you just say, for example, you want to add a user and then say something, run a PWD or something, whatever command you just do, I just tokenize it, and I say, this is not in the list of allowed commands that I do. So I read the command, I put it into either a flat file or a database and parse it, and then later on I just kind of like say that whether this command can run on my side or not. So if you run the date command, which is a valid command, you can see that the date command is okay, because I allowed that command there. And if you just say the timestamp is good, so let me get a calendar for this month, the current month is this. But if I want to get the calendar of one of 1970, January 1st of 1970, you can see that I'm getting the January 1st of 1970, which is the epoch calendar. And similarly, if I get calendar 2 of 1970, then that would just give me the February. But notice that I didn't program it to just give me everything that the person type in, because I wasn't interested to allow every command that is in the word there. So this one will just do nothing, calendar March. But if I just say give me a calendar of 1970, the full year for 1970, then I will show that. So there's about 400 or 500 list of commands that I just allow people to practice with. And then if they're interested to learn more, and then some of the commands or kind of like either uh, have something to do with the cybersecurity or permissions that you cannot run the change mode or change ownership, then come back here on the intermediate level. And then I've already written documentation, for example, for those commands like change group, change ownership, change mode. So if you go to change mode, for example, I have this documentation for you. You can start learning the entire things with all the permissions, access control, everything. And I'm giving you examples so you can practice it and start learning without, any dependency that, oh, this part is not there. So it's a complete book. It helps you online with everything that you need on Linux. Once you finish this book, believe me, I think I can guarantee you that you can apply to any job. You will be in demand, and then people say that how much you know and how much they appreciate your expertise in the subject. You might be a subject matter expert if you could finish all the chapter 4, which is all this one is about 88 commands. And let me just make it a little bit smaller because it's too big for this screen. Okay, so this one, if you look at it, I made it the chapter 4 similarly. You could come in and start learning here. And then some of the commands are similarly to you practice it. Some of them, no, you don't practice it that way. You just basically watch the video. That for each row, I made one separate video. So row 1 would be chapter 4, part 1. Row 2 would be chapter 4, part 2 until row 8, which is part 8 of 8. You're welcome to watch these ones at this very advanced levels, like you can do it, but just for the ones that are, I'm not allowing people to create accounts. Again, here, I'm just saying that for user add, user delete, or group delete, or group modification, all the things I'm showing you here, examples. So you can start learning and practicing them online. And then for the ones that are a little bit kind of like, um, obviously the video is going to help you there. And like, for example, let's say Docker, if you want to learn Docker, again, I'm not going to just allow people to create a Docker container on my web server. I'm just showing you syntax here. And then if you just watch the video, you're going to learn the details as well. Okay. And then ADB, Advanced Debugger. This is too much of kind of like advanced level that all the system calls everything. When I was troubleshooting kind of mutex and files on the Andrew file system, and like say DocShare application, which is written by Xerox, that they would have had conflicting. I was using ADB, MDB, GDB, and then figuring out what was the mutex function calls that was causing these problems. So this is very intensive here, that if you're looking for it. And then core, G core, all of that one is there. For Figlet, for example, there's a lot of nice stuff for the documentation, as well as I made the entire video for Figlets that you could just use different fonts and everything, similarly for banners and so on. And the GCC and G++, all of them are there with detailed documentation. Let's get started with inside the command lines operating system. We already practiced those ones. So in order to know what machine I'm logged on, I type in host name. That tells me that I'm logged on the Linux Ubuntu version of my cloud computing environment. It's called www.mywebuniversity.com. And if I just go uname -a, it also tells me that I'm on a Linux web server here. That is there. And then if I say cat etc os-release, then it's going to tell me that I have the version of Ubuntu 20.04 long-term support, and then this is running the Linux Ubuntu basically. Clearing the screen, uname and dash kernel name could also give you the uname dash kernel name. The uname was mistyped, that's why it came out. So let me do uname dash help. Will just give you all the options, but I just showed you dash kernel name. So you can do all of these ones with detail. Uname dash o for uname dash o, uname dash s for system name, uname dash r for revision or build, uname dash m for machine type, uname dash platform is x86, same thing as machine type. If you want all of them, uname dash a for everything, that you don't have to do one by one. So once you're here, you can also do host name that I showed you here. And if you just say, what is the IP address of this one? There's command here. You could say IP address. IPA is also give you there as a short, and then clear the screen, IP address. So we'll give you that one, and then fconfig -a, 5 more, and then you could see all of them. So the one that is Ethernet 0, you could say fconfig Ethernet 0. That will just show you the Ethernet 0. Notice that this is the IP address. So if I say nslookup www.mywebuniversity.com, it will show that the same IP address that I'm doing here. So when I say ping www.mywebuniversity.com, it will ping it to that one. Okay, so I must have typed something here. Oh, there's a for www.mywebuniversity.com. So this would ping it, and then if I want to just stop it, I can do Control C or to stop it. And then you can also do arguments to it to say that do only for session -n for for or -c for count of so forth. Depending on what operating system you use, different arguments are there. So let's do another command here. If I just say what is nslookup google.com. So notice that google.com this is the web server, and if I just say what is minus query is equal just an X record, mail exchanger record, you can see that the SMTP for the mail server is listening to for Google. Similarly, if I just do the same thing with MX record of mywebuniversity.com, and then it will show the mail exchanger record there. So if you do like a lot of commands here that is available for each of those commands that I showed you, like cat etc os-release is telling you the OS release, and if you want line number, you just say cat -e and then OS release. And if you say I like the line I'm sorry, cat -n for line number, you could do that one. But if you just say show me at the same time EA for everything, and notice that if I do this one and clear my screen, the line numbers is -n option, it tells you. But this with everything and all is for all of them, you can see that all the characters that the new line characters are showing us $sign. If there was tab, it would be /t and so on. If it was any other character, it would show this. And if I just change this one to show the same file with octal dump minus C, you can see that I'm getting line numbers or showing a slash n, and then any other files characters are there, the address is there, and then the name and the strings are there. So if you just say clear screen instead of the minus C for character, I put an hexadecimal, then you can get the same output of that file and hexadecimal file. But what I'm trying to do here is that on this Linux command, if you just say, show me a WD command, clear the screen, man printf statement. Notice when I don't give any section, by default, it shows the Linux printf command. So if I just change this one and I say man minus S1, this also gave me section 1. But if I change this one, say, give me section 3 of them, then now it's the standard IO and .head and .h header file, and this is there. So for each command that you do by default, Linux is really smart. If you say man mount, it will just run the section 8. So if I just want to do man minus S8, also for the mount, it works for the section 8. So whether you type it with the section or not, the case sensitivity, not the case sensitivity, the Linux commands reads the manual pages by default. If there's no OS related commands, like in the case of printf statement, it's gonna just do the section 1 for it. But if you provide the argument to say, no, I wanna see the standard IO header files, then you have to say minus section. So let's just look at one more thing here. Man scanf. Scanf is also on section 3, but notice when I type in, because there's no operating system command, it's going to automatically pick it up from section. All the scanf and fscanf and sscanf, all of those header files are the same. So here I could do also minus S3, but it's not necessary that I type in because there's no OS related command automatically picks it up from there. Okay. That's for a man. And then there's also info on that. And if, for example, you could do the same thing with info, get information on it there. And then what is another command. What is PWD? What is scanf? What is what is all these commands that you're just reading? What is also tell you, like, for example, printf statement. You can see that if there's more than one, it will show you all of them. And so what is locate? It will show that one. What is get app get? Then it will see it. So and the app get is for app install, app get, app cache, all of those ones for package manager of application package toolkit, and that is there. There's snapd. There's what else? There's, let me see which snapd. If you have installed snaps, clear the screen. So snap list. Yeah, so I have already installed here. I can do app the list snap, and then show the snap packages app show snap, and then um, DPKG. That's the Debian package manager for Debian, in addition to this one. So if I say man snap D is not there, man snap is a snap is the command that you could use interactively, and so snap list and snap to just install any packages like Firefox or Chromium. You just say snap space install Chromium or um, Firefox or any other packages. But apt is for the app tools, and Debian package manager is for Debian. So we just showed you a number of commands here, and now I'm going to show you similar commands using the IPython or Python actually. So let's just say first we say Python dash dash help. It will tell you Python dash dash help. Type more. You will see the Python documentation here. And then if I just say, okay, that's good, I read everything, clear my screen and say IPython dash dash help, you will get help on IPython. And then let me just also open a command prompt here and do the same thing with interactive Python. So interactive Python, you say I'm sorry, Jupyter and Jupyter and then dash dash help. And this is not interactive Python. This is Jupyter. So with IPython on the command prompt, you can do the same thing. So you can see this is Jupyter. It gives you a lot of arguments here. You can see you can run the Jupyter Labs, for example, here, and then Jupyter Notebooks and everything. But run the lab. It is enhanced version of a notebook. Notebook is a little bit old stuff. Like Jupyter dash dash version would give you the information. So clear screen here, and Jupyter dash dash version would give you this, and then you can get the config dir and then the path and all those other details. You could get it. What notice with the Jupyter dash dash version, when you do it, it is running with selected Jupyter core packages. So you get the IPython, the IPython kernel, IPython widgets, Jupyter client, Jupyter cores, Jupyter server, Jupyter Lab, and notebook clients, notebook convert, notebook format, notebooks, and Qt console and Tradelet. All of them you are getting there. Again, if you do IPython version, dash dash version, you get the IPython version, which is showing here 8.4, also on Jupyter Lab, because we did it for the entire package. And if you say Python dash dash version, you get the Python version as well. So coming back to this information here with IPython, I'm going to just say we did the help already for the IPython and then Jupyter. So click here, which Jupyter, and let's see if I have installed. Yeah, Jupyter is also there. So Jupyter and dash dash version. When you run it on the Linux side, you can see the same number of core Jupyter core it's showing with all the other versions that are installed for it. So if I say IPython dash dash version, you can see that the version is 8.11, and then Python and dash dash version is 3.8.10. So let me just clear my screen here again. And this time I'm going to say Jupyter dash dash help. And you can see that it is giving you the help for it. So you can run on Jupyter also on the Linux side as well. As long as you're on the kind of GUI interface, you could get it on the browser, and then you could just browse it the same way. But today I'm going to show you the Jupyter part on the Windows side, because yesterday when I did the other video, everything was good except there was some kind of audio because of the wind. It was a little bit windy, and somehow it was interfering with the sound. So I'm not going to delete that video yet because it looks with a lot of great materials. It's 1 hour 20 minutes, a video long, and a lot of it is good, but there are times that it just the audio is not as good, but the video is really looking good quality. So I'm going to keep it, and then I'm going to make this video there as well. So I'm going to show you both on Windows and Linux, and then you're welcome to just learn Linux as well as Windows you watching this video. Hopefully, this one will not have any kind of audio issue because I resolved that one already. So without further ado, let's get inside Python now. I'm gonna do Python. So when you're inside Python, you cannot run the alias command. There's no such thing as alias. IPython has it. Interactive Python has it, and Jupyter Lab. So inside Python, you are still able to do everything that you can do with Interactive Python, Jupyter, and then the only difference is that Interactive Python and Jupyter, and they give you this option of tab delimiters and color coded, and then maybe some sort of IDE, integrated development environment, which Python does not. Python has the idle, which is stand for idle is like this, IDLE. It is integrated development learning environment. So you're a developer, you have to do everything yourself at the command line. That's what that do. But if you're interested to do this one, you either install Visual Studio Code or PyCharm. There's a lot of IDEs that are very, very good, including Jupyter Lab. Then you can just use those ones. I'm fine with both of them because I'm a kind of like more a command line person, and then everything that I do on Linux or Solaris operating system, Linux, everything I just do it on that by memorizing it and doing it the old days. So I that's how I learn it, and I'm fine with it. I don't need to just open a text pad on something or some sort of kind of um, visual kind of interface in order to do Vim or Emacs or something. I could do it all on the command lines. So let's do this one, and then similar with the scripting and Python scripting and scripting, C++, and so let's get started with this one and say dir here. The dir object that you can see here when you're typing dir, you're seeing the entire document, and then with everything else, the documentation for it and all the double underscore method, magic method that are available. But I'm going to do import OS here. Then I do a dir. Notice that when I import OS, the operating system modules are there. So now if I say type of OS, it's going to say, I'm sorry, type OS. I must type it correctly. And let me just clear the screen first. Say os.system. I can clear my screen by typing clear command on Linux, and that would do this. So by doing this one, I could just say hostname and then just find out the same thing that's operating system. Notice for every time I run the operating system, I get this status, which means successful, 0. That means that there was no error. If I type in an error, something that is not there, notice that the status is not the same. That means that this command did not run. As soon as I type in the command that is successful, and then I'm gonna get the status okay. So what I need to do is like run this command like ID, and then run calendar, and then run pwd. So every command that I do, let's clear the screen here, and then run a couple of commands here. Say hostname, and then just say ping on google.com. I'm not gonna ping it actually. Let's just do uh, run the date command, run the calendar 19070 epoch Linux calendar. You could just do whatever you want here and run the ncal for a new calendar, run the calendar dash J and Julian format you could do, and then run dash A 5 just give me all the calendar after current month, 5 months for 5 of them. So today is April 8th, and then 5 of them. If I want to see 3 of them, and then I just get 3 of them there. But if I want to get before 3 months there, I can just get the before. So April is there, then before it was March, and then February and January. And then you can get a lot of these kind of syntax, same thing that is there. Now, notice that with most commands, it says that the output was given here. If I do ls minus l to get a long listing of the files, at the end it tells me that this is there. So if I change this one with, say, show me star.sh, all the files that are sh for the shell script, it's there. And if I say, okay, I found out that there's a script called a while one.sh, I could just show me the content of it. Then it's gonna say, go ahead, do the things, sleep 1 second, and then stop. I can even execute those commands inside this one. And then let's just do run the while one.sh, see what it does. So here you can see it says permission denied because this file does not have the permission set. In order to do this one, you can do a bash minus x, so I don't have to change the permission, and then say minus x, and then show each line executable, and then it's going to do it. But notice that while true is going to just go indefinite because it is just available here. So I could do a control C out of it and then kill it, or I could just go and change the script to do it, and or do a kill or kill on the process, opening another terminal. And so let's just demonstrate that one for you. I'm going to run this one here, and then I say, okay, inside here, I run this one. I'm going to just look for this one. Sorry, look for another terminal here. So the new terminal happens here. I'm gonna first say, let's set my PS1 to only $, because that's too much information there. So I'm going to be on the same host. Now, if I just say, I want to kill the Python process that invoke that while read here, notice that if I just move this one out of the way, and then this one will just go indefinitely because the while statement was true. So here, if I just look at the while statement here, cut while one.sh, you can see that it is just saying while true. While true, that's all gonna be always true. So now inside this Python program is done. The only way you can either you tell the user to control C out of it, or just you're the admin, you just say, well, the person that started the process was script minus I Python, and then let's just look at that one, and then we kill that process that W. Lutfi started, which is this is a process. In order to make it more unique, you can also do grep minus v grep, and then that way it is this. And then I'm not interested in the stop for process because owned by root, but this one was the one that W. Lutfi started. So I'm going to say L minus 9, and then just this process ID. And now this one is going to terminate. This if it doesn't terminate here, it should, and it did. But notice that some of the output are still coming out from the previous one, just because there's already put into like a sleep and then this thing. So another thing you could do is just say, let me just look at that one. Yeah. So this one, control C out of it here. Well, just ID here. So in this case, it's a little bit more than just one process somehow. And the Python interactivity, it just keeps calling it. So let's see what other process that is started with that one. And it is there, PS is there, PS minus EF corrupt minus I double L3. I could also close this terminal session, and that way it will close it. But there's no other activity except this is already buffered. So I'm going to just close this one and then just stay here. And then here, if I run top, you can see that there's no Python program and that are coming from the user Wahid W and then grep minus I. Python, this is empty. And if I just do a grep minus v grep, it will be empty. Nothing there. Okay. And echo $ question mark out of this command is successful. And also this one, meaning that it did not find it. This one, when it's returning 1, meaning that this command was not finding it. But if I say run this command without the grep command, this will be misleading you because there's a command, but this is my own grep command. So this one will say echo $ question mark is 0 successful. $ question. So that would be successful. So let's just close this one overall. We are going to just open a fresh terminal, and then I'm going to say export PS1 is equal. So you learn how to just do your export commands and the thing, and lowercase here, then host name, and then I'm going to get into Python again, there again here, and then import OS, and then run os.system. Let's say clear screen first, and then say instead of clear screen, let's say calendar. Notice that there's a 0 there, and if I just run the date command for getting the system date, you can see that they're there. If I just look for PS minus EFA, grep minus I HTTP for Apache processes, if there's any Apache there, and then they're showing. If you say run the system CTO, that is Apache 2, then you will see that one is Apache 2. Give me like more information. It's HD. You can see that it is there. So when you're looking at these processes and you can stop them and start them, all of them are there. Let me just clear the screen here. And now I show you one command only and show you how Python can run on this command here. And then just at the same time, notice that you're doing systemctl status SSHD, then you are getting this end, and then you just click it, and then you get this 0, meaning that the command runs successful. So if I just change that one to clear screen and then run the date command here, date command, and then you can see that every time I run the date command, it's dynamic. The second and just keep changing. You can see, and now it's 27 second, and then it's 29 second. So it does that, do this one. So if I just do this one, say clear the screen here, clear the screen command right there. I could say run the date command here, but notice I could write a for statement to just do more than one time. So I could say for item and range of 10 times, run the 10 times this one, and then actually I don't need the item, so I'm going to use a different way. Let's do a print item here. So that one would be 10. But if I just say, instead of that, I'm going to say for underscore, and range of 10, and then just say, I'm not going to use that variable item anymore, so I use the underscore. I could say os dot system, and then run the date command 10 times. So notice that it already did it 10 times, and then the amount of second, everything was already fast enough, right? So I could just say for item and this, and then instead of date, I'm going to say sleep 1 second, and then I run after the data command again. So now this time, notice that every time it does, it's 12, and then wait 1 second, then the time is changing. So you can pass in with the semicolon, the argument there, and you could just execute more commands there. So while I'm doing this one, I could just say, for example, let's say the first command here, I could say, and here I could say, give me a calendar command also. So this one, it tells you the calendar command as well as the operating system commands as well. So you can see that your options are unlimited, how you write a program to dynamically generate certain things. Whether you use some kind of pandas for reading a database or reading from operating system side, you can write programs and to generate dynamic data all the time. So here I'm going to show you another method, so you don't have to have an output of 0 here. So if I just do that one, I could just say, let's go to the same for statement. This time I'm going to just, instead of this, I'm going to say, let's just generate a list first. I'm going to just do this one. This one will run there. I want to just write a list, and then so we can pass on more than one argument. And then, so first, let's create a list and say commands is equal, and then we give a list of the commands that we did here. So let's run the command host name, and then and also pwd, and then also not pwd. Let's just say date command. That's good enough. Those two commands, and then also a calendar command. So these three commands, we are going to create a list. And if I say for command and commands print, this is just normal Python thing. So you could just get the list and say that, yeah, I got the list of commands that I want to run. So now this time I'm going to just say for commands and commands, you could say stream. You open a stream, and then you say os dot type open or process open. You open this. You use this popen method, and then you pass in the argument as the command that you want to do, and then you just say execute those commands with that one, and then now we say output is equal read the stream stream.read method, and then print out the output. Once you get the output, you just print it out. Notice this time we are not going to get this 0, meaning every time the command run it shows successful. I don't need to see that one. Notice that for the first command that we had, the host name was shown, and then the next command was the date, and then the third command was the calendar, but none of them had those ones. So if I just do the same thing here, let's say for command here, and then output here, first we do the stream, and then the output, and then this print statement, and instead of doing this one, you could say use a formatted string, say f, and then say your command was, and then just the command was, and then just give the CMD. That's the command, and then that would be printing that. So this is just I couldn't see whether it was there something else was from the Zoom was pointing on top of it. So print your command was this. Now I have the command, and then I'm gonna say right after that one, the print output. So this time we should see your command was, and then host name, and then your command was date, and then your command was calendar. If you want to just put it in the same thing here, obviously for the commands in this one, you could just say and this, and then that, and then your command was, and just put this one within double quote here, because you want to just show your command was that, and then do the print output. So now your command, you could just double quote it. Notice that F string, you start with single quote, you end it with single quote, but then this double quote is just where it is putting the actual command with formatted string. So that's what the F stands for. You're formatting it there. And the previous version of Python 2.27 was format command and then method, or format function or method. And here we have this. By the way, Python is both object-oriented programming language as well as a functional programming language. So here we have this output is shown here. And then the nice thing about the popen, it opens a stream, and then you could just say that, okay, I opened the stream, I ran the command, and I executed this. And the list of commands that you pass into the commands itself, it is dynamic. So you could just say print commands, command, is it command or commands? Let me just do a command. I think it's commands. So commands, you can see that this that list, and then you can just add on to that command. So if I just want to add on to it, because a type of command is type of commands, it's a list. I could just say either programmatically append to the list, or I could just make it something else. So let's just add another command, or I could just go again and redefine the command. But I don't need to redefine it since it's a list. I'm going to insert to it. So the way you do it is say commands dot insert method, and you start with index of 0, and then you type in that command you do, ls minus l start dot sh. So this is a longer command that I'm just adding here, and then now the command print commands is going to show you that ls minus l is there. So if I say for commands sub-0 commands, you can also get the first element of it, which is this, or 1, the second one, and 2, the third one, and 3, the calendar, which is the last one. Or you could just say colon to get all of them. Or just say, give me from 1 to the last one. Or give me only the first one and to the of show me that one. You could just do it whatever you want, -1 here. That would give you to the end of it. So there's way that you could slice it there. But let's do the same command now. We run those commands there. So I'm going to do os.system and then run a clear screen command here. And then the clear command is their os.name is showing POSIX. I'm on a Windows, Linux operating system. If you're on the Windows operating system, on this one, clear screen is the command. So Python here, you say import OS there os.name here would show NT os.system. Clear command will not work here on Windows, so you have to do CLS. That's why, and the syntax of the command or this. But host name is also here the same thing. Like some command, like dir command, that are there, and then nslookup or provided on both of them, google.com. So you can see that is there, and you can see, for example, command here that over there we type in IP, fconfig. Here you type in ipconfig. And netstat command is the same. Netstat here is the same command that you can just get those information out. So let me just come back here, and then here if I say netstat minus an, then grep minus I listen, I could just get all the listening ports there. If I just say okay, netstat not netstat lsof minus I port 80. So show me port 80 is and the process ID is showing 256, and then I could get LSOF by general, and then grep minus I Python. So this is just all the Python list of open files that are open for it. Let's just go back to the thing that I was doing here. This is too much outside of the scope of actually it is operating system in Linux. That's why I'm covering it. So let's just see here. I'm going to color the screen, and then I say print commands. So now commands is a list of all of those ones. Let's run those ones with the popen command again. So I say for command this for CMD and commands. I could just put this colon, meaning that everything, or I could just omit it and just do this. And that's a shorter version. So I'm going to use the shorter version. A stream. So you create this stream here, and then just say OS. Since I already imported OS, I can use the open method. I'm going to say CMD, and then I'm going to say output is equal stream.read. And then after that one, I'm going to just say print let's just use fstring, say the output of your command, and then we're just gonna use this brace CMD. So we could just do that, and then single quote, and then say printf. Assuming there's no typo, let's run it. And then it did not have any typo, so we could just see it interactively. We ran the command from inside Python, and that's very powerful. As you can see, it just ran the commands here. This was the list of the commands. So here the first command was ls-l, and here's the output. The second command was host name. Here's the output. The third command was date, and here's the output. And then the last command was calendar, and below is the output for it. So we use this one. I'm going to shift gears and just change IPython. Interactive Python version that we're running here is 8.11. So in order to get into Interactive Python, you just type in Interactive Python and get in. Now, the only difference is that it's color-coded. and it shows you that you're on cell 1. And here you have options of running same commands that we did there on the inside the Python, and we can do import there and everything. But another nice thing here is that I can use this bang command or exclamation mark and then run the OS commands here. I can use this two double sign, and then similarly I can use one bang. So the difference between one bang and two bang, sometimes with the two bangs, sometimes it gives you more options to pass in arguments correctly. And then otherwise you could use the OS system module or the operating system module or system method inside the OS module, or um, process open, pipe open method inside the OS module. So here we are doing two things. You can do anything here, say PWD, or just run it for one chart here, or just say who is logged on, or run who minus R. So the command that we did inside the Python, you could do it here as well, which means that you have to say, let's say, clear the screen here and say import OS first, and then dir of OS. Notice there's all these methods are there. One of them or dir OS dot system. So this is the OS dot system that has all of this. So if I say print dir of OS dot system, you get a much shorter version showing you in horizontal format versus vertical. And then you could also get help on it. And instead of dir, you can get help on it. You can see that all the functions that are available for it, you could do it. Clear the screen here. Clear the screen. You can also say OS.system and then put a question mark here, and it will tell you what is that command method do. So here OS question mark will give you the operating system module. And then also there's tab delimiter. So you could say OS dot and then this tab, when you press tab, notice all the methods that are available for the operating system. You could do it. For example, if you click on P and then just type in P and then you press tab, all the methods that you can do with like P open and other ones that are available, you could do that one. So if you say tab get, now notice that get env, it comes in. So if I just say, give me the env, get path env, I could do it. And get the home directory information there, get my environment that is, let's say for the current directory, the home that, what else is, well, I could just say, and the path I did, LD library path. So any thing that is set there, you could just get information here. And then remember OS.system, you could just say env and then get a list of everything that are there, all of them. So like prom shell 1, you could say ps1. Sorry, on the other one. env and then rep minus I ps1. So ps1, you can see it is set to $, because I exported so. So here, if I just go for that path with the D library path, and instead of this one, I say, give me the PS1 here, and then it will just say this as $. And then what is there a PS2? Usually there is one, but if inside Python interpreter, you could just also get it by importing import this module. So sys module has it, and then sys.ps1, sys.ps1, sys.ps1. Let me just see sys.ps1. yeah, sys.ps1 is there of sys. And so sys has all of them, and then one of them is ps1, lowercase, ps2, upper lowercase, all of them. So I say I could get something like this. They say for item and dir of sys, then just say f yes and item, then print it. Print it, print item. Notice that when you do this one, you get all ps1, ps2. So I could say print test.ps1, and then that is just showing a different thing in color. So it is not the three dots or showing correctly, and then the um, PS3 is also showing out, but it is a little bit in blue color. So blue on dark is not showing. The way I could demonstrate that one inside IPython, inside Python, I could say Python import sys, and then say print sys.ps1. Notice that is showing PS2 is the dots, and PS3 is also PS3 is not defined here inside the other one. So if I just say go ahead modify the PS1 to something like squiggy or something, I could say sys.ps1 is equal. Let's just change it to squiggies. 3 is squiggies. Tilde. And then notice that I already changed it. And then say print, print, and now we are saying sys.ps1. It is just that. If I want to change it back to that one, obviously I set this one back to the three dots. And if I want to say Python in front of it, and then I could change that one also. Now it says that one. So my Python interpreter is just using that as print. So you can see that it's there. And PS2 is the dots still. But if I exit out of this one, and then say exit out of this one, and then come back to Python, and then I say, I want to just test it on the Python, not interactive Python. But if I go back here and then see that it's already back to normal, because that's for the default setting that is there. Okay. So clear the screen here. We did the interactive Python. I'm going to do some more on the interactive Python here. And so interactive Python has this functionality of like importing a package and then seeing the method. So import OS, for example, and then say dir of OS dot, and then here you can just say get current working directory, for example. And then you can see that one. Let me just clear the screen here and say you can also get aliases and the list of the commands that are available, like ls or automatically, and since the alias, you can do it. Clear command, I don't have to put bang in front of it. So if there's a list of commands that you could do here, you could do make dir test, and now ls test. That directory we just created, it says ls minus ld test, and it is showing here. So now I could say rm dir test, it is gone. Now if I just run this one, it says no such file or directory, because I just deleted with rm dir there. So here the clear command is working, alias. In addition, the IPython has something called ls magic. So if I just say clear here, and then just say pipe percentage ls magic, this is a list of magics that are there. for both inline magics that are there, line magics, and these are all line magics, and then also for cell magic. The cell magics are kind of like tools that you can do HTML, Bash, Python 2, Python 3, Ruby, and then JavaScript, and so on. All of those ones are available for you with the magic methods. So some commands like dropping into Bash, you can just, now I'm on Bash. So if I say for item in not item, let's say for num and range of 1 to dot 10, and then just say do. Now I have to write the syntax of Bash. Echo the number is, and then $num, and then say done. And you can see that I was inside the Bash. I was executing for statement on one side of the Bash, and then did all the work. So inside here, you have a lot of other options that you can do. Let's say clear a screen here. Let's say import a numpy as np, and then now I'm going to create an array structure. So I say array is equal np dot a range, and then I'm going to just say do 10 numbers, and then if I just say print a, now it's all those numbers. If I just say by itself a, it's going to also show me that data structure with array data type. And so that is there. A dot data type could give me the version, the type of this. A dot size will give me the best 10 element. A dot item size is going to show me how many bytes it takes for one of them. So A dot number of dimension is one dimension array is there. So if I just redefine this A to be a 2-dimension array, I could do this one by just saying, instead of this A range, I could just say array, and then let's do a we can do it here. Say 1, 2, 3, 3, and then just have a second dimension comma, and then just say 3. I mean 4, comma 5, comma 6. So let's just do 2-dimension here, and then when we are doing 2-dimension, you have to put 2 brackets here, and that close the second one here. Now this right format, A is there. Print of A, you can see that A dot number of dimension is going to show that clear in the screen. A is this. Print of A will give you that, and then say print numpy.info of A will give you everything about that. Whether you want to get the shape, the number of size, items, everything is there. And then clear a screen, A is this. If I want to say 2 by, now this is 3 by 3 rows and 2 column. 2 columns. If I want it by 2 by 3, then I could just reshape it. Reshape. So 2 by 3. And then let's do 3 by 3 rows and 2 columns. And then that's how you reshape it. So there's options on the NumPy inside Python as well as NumPy. All I'm showing you, the same thing that you can do inside Python, you can do with IPython, but there's a little bit color coded, a little bit IDE stuff, app delimiters, a lot of the operating system commands that are either aliases or you have these bang and shebang commands that you can do, and then just run those commands as well as getting the calendar and getting the with running with two commands. You can do everything. Okay, and then uptime, system uptime to see the load average, and then run top. So run top, and then if I just exit out of here, quit, it is there. So how nice is that, right? Let me just come back and now on Windows, and then we just do some Windows operating system. We already used Python, and then I'm going to also show you a little bit of interactive Python. So interactive Python, you can do the same thing here. And then notice that when you do an interactive Python, again, the alias are showing here, and then the clear command would work. But clear command is on Linux, and you have to do clear here and alias here. Dir command is going to just not do this because there's no dir, but ls is there. Ls is equivalent to that dir command, and dir slash on would be just doing the same command, because we saw that the unless dir slash on. So whatever command that you do, then you have a ls for them. You can add to your ls also. You can just this is kind of like type of alias. Alias is not showing as defined, which is an alias itself on the IPython. So maybe you cannot add it to it. It was not it's already predetermined, but some of them you can get it from the system setting, and you can just adjust it as you. I don't need to just create alias for everything, because that's an additional commands that you do. Some people, they write for every command a shorter version, and then all of a sudden they're on a different machine. They don't have their aliases. They're stuck. They say, what was that command that I was running? I just go to every machine and I just do the long way or the short way, understanding that what they are doing. So here you can also do ls magic with the percentage, ls magic. And notice that it has this options of doing inline magic or cell magic. And then at the same time, you can do import OS here and say OS dot. And then once you tab it, you get a list of the commands. So here, if I just say, let's just say OS dot get the current working directory. That is going to show me what directory I started it. OS dot get env. And notice that here, since I'm on a Windows operating system, if I type in path, this will show me the full path of the Windows, which start with C colon. Here, if I just say, show me, search for anything with home, and then it is, if there's anything that will just show it, otherwise it doesn't. So like, for example, let's just do os.system. And then instead of env, you right here, you say set. That's the command that give you all the environment variables set on Windows. So username was the one that I was looking for. So in here, you could just type in uppercase username. That's why I just don't want to alias anything. For depending on what operating system, you have to figure it out yourself, and by just knowing it. So if I'm looking for PowerShell things there, I could do something like set and then say, what are the variables that are specific to PowerShell? String /I and then say PowerShell here within the search. Now, this will just only show the path to the PowerShell. So PowerShell is there. But if I just change this one to something, any character that uses Wahid. So user profile is another one that is doing that one. So I could just do this and say user underscore profile, profile, and then you see C colon user Wahid there. So what I'm showing you here, the options are unlimited. Like if you say, what is the OneDrive pointing to? OneDrive, and then you can see that it is user Wahid OneDrive. So that is going to be more on the list of options here that is available for you. OS dot get login, for example, get this login name. So if you forgot this list of options that are there for you and say OS dot get login, was it get login or get something else? You could just say get here and then press tab. And then notice that all the current working directory, get login and get size, get parent process ID, get process ID are there. So get process ID, and this is going to show me the my process ID of the shell that I'm running here. Since it's interactive Python, I could just say task list on the command here on the OS list, task list. This is going to just show me all the task list. And then for the process ID of that one, remember the process ID of get the ID here was that. So I could say task list and then find string slash I, and then we just look for the number 15864, and then close that one, and then just that would just show you the Python interpreter that I started here for this. So if you just look for the string Python itself, you could also get the list. And then obviously OS system, you can run a calculator here and then just start the calculator, and then you can run those as well. And you can do Notepad, and then you just start Notepad. So everything that you do on the operating system, you can use inside IPython and interactive Python, and also on Jupyter notebooks. So I'm going to exit out of this one by doing, you can do quit this or exit. That would kick you out. So I'm going to just start Jupyter. Remember the Jupyter version that we run here already, dash version. So all of these packages that are installed on within Jupyter Core, we are seeing it. I'm going to say, okay, Jupyter Lab. So I'm going to use just Jupyter Lab here. To run Jupyter Lab, I'm going to just do Jupyter Space Lab. This will just start a Jupyter Lab in port 888. And then once it starts on port 888, after that one, you're welcome to just start practicing the Jupyter Lab stuff there. Similarly to IPython, Jupyter Lab also has the interactive commands as well as the kernels that you can open, as well as Python that you can open, HTML version, JavaScript, and text editorial and command lines, whether you're on PowerShell or Bash, depending on whether you run it on Linux or Windows, you can run all these things available. Notice that the interactive shell here is a PowerShell. So I can just say run that command like get dash help get dash process. And then get dash process, you can see I can type in PS for short and give me that processes of all the process that are running here. It is extensive, but I could also say get dash process. So some of the commands, get item, get all that thing that you do with the list, start service, stop a service, all of that one are available here. And then the PowerShell commands from the manual pages that I showed you It's already there. I'm not gonna do too much here on that script. You can run the programs also inside the IPython and interactively here execute the commands as well. So directory star.py, directory star.ipython notebook, uh, you can see that these are the one. And then when you look at these ones, sometimes they, because it's interactive Python, they're like in JSON formatted things. So if I just say Jupyter test.python notebook, you can see that the whole cell is in JSON formatted kind of array structure. And JSON stands for JavaScript object notation. And you can see that it's arrays and structures that are defined and data dictionaries and everything that are getting these data in different formats. But when you open a new tab, you have option of whether you open a Python 3 IPython kernel or console or a terminal, which we were just in, or text file or markdown or Python file, and there's a lot of details. So in this example, I'm going to just use a Python 3 IPython kernel. I'm going to rename this one to say something new name. I'm going to just say um, Jupyter dash lab dash test. Just say we're testing Jupyter Lab. So here, if I just say alias and run the cells, and you can see the same list that were available on the IPython, it is available here. If I just say bank and then say host name, just run that one, host name, you can see that it runs the commands there, as well as bank host name, it runs the same thing with that list as well. And if I just say, go ahead, clear my screen without any argument, can it clear a screen? It doesn't mean anything here because this is a cell. So and instead of doing that one, I could say, give me a directory command listing output. You could just get that one. And if you say, and instead of directory listing like that, just give me a directory listing with wide information here, you could get that. And you say, well, that is good. Can I use that too? Exclamation, yes, you do can. You can say, for example, 3C colon slash demo, and you could get the output of that one. And then right here, it is the argument that are showing. So if you just say, show me an ASCII format rather than those kind of image, kind of that things that we cannot read. And then this is like an ASCII format. Actually, slash F is for files, and slash A. I meant to type in slash A. So slash A is going to give you the ASCII format, and you can see that this information. So if you just say, what about command like ipconfig slash all with all of the details. So this is like a little bit more details with all the DNS names and everything that are pointing to. It is just reading that. And what about netstat, like netstat command here? Netstat, it's gonna just give you in general a lot. So if you just say, just show me the one that are pointing to dash routing table dash RN, and then just run those ones. It's a little bit slow. So if I just run the netstat command on the command prompt, see what I get here, cmd here, and then just say netstat dash rn, and that tells me, but it runs it. It's a little bit slow on the this command. I think, yeah, it did eventually came out. It was just slow. So here, if I just do the same netstat command that I did, and instead of just doing that one and then say, so let's see if there's anything with open link and then open link on link or something on link. So if I just look at the virtual box here, you could just say something that I want to show it on the internet. Let's say find a string /I and then virtual box. So then you're filtering it a little bit more when netstat rn command and then routing numbers and then the virtual box thing here. If your command runs for a long time, you could just run this command, Control C out of it to copy it, and then Control V here, and just paste it here and then run it. This way, you just see the output is showing host only adapter in there, and it should come out this one. It is just a little bit too slow. And then while that one comes or not, I'm not worried about it because that's just an output. Depending on your resource, you will get this one. But if you run this git command /t, and then just that command should come out right away. And it is even that command is slow. So now Jupyter Notebook is sluggish here. So you could run this one from the command prompt here. Say just date. Looks like it's hanging right now. So let me close some of these other ones that I'm not using. And by the way, thanks to Google for providing these nice interface that I can make PowerPoint presentation using their docs.google.com. And they're very generous. They provide all these things, and thanks to this website that I went and say Linux Ubuntu images free downloads. So I just get these nice pages to just make my own presentation, and then having this kind of image on the top is making look a little bit more presentable, so you guys could just enjoy while you're watching it, and that's very nice to have. And thanks to Google, and thanks to Microsoft, thanks to IPython, Python, Windows, and Linux Ubuntu, and Jupyter Lab, and IPython, all of them, for providing these videos and I mean pictures, as well as writing the software that is open source like Python that we can show, or and Jupyter Lab and Jupyter Notebook. And thanks to my web university, full credit is given to everybody for making these videos possible. So you guys could start learning there. And I think I'm going to end the video here because there's not much we can just do aside from this. And then we showed everything on that previous video also on the Jupyter Lab already on Windows. And I showed you more here that you can do. Obviously, you can do the OS system the same way that we did on the other ones. And then you can collapse also these outputs here. That's another feature that the lab works on it. You can delete them also. So if you just say, well, maybe this one was running, but this last one never finished, I can delete it, or just start a new kernel, I could do that. And so if you just delete this one, and then you collapse this last one, you can also add it and like add another cell here, and then just say Elias. Let's see if this come back already. It is still there. That is not responding. I'm gonna delete all of these cell just one by one. Just see if the new cell, and I could just get it running. If it doesn't run, you can also go on the kernel here and restore the kernel. It takes a little bit to just initiate, or you could shut it down by file here and just say power off and then restart it. So in this case, I'm going to just go under file and power it off. And because I don't need to use it, it's already all good. So I could say shut down and I say, yes, thank you, I'm done. So this is how you could do it. And then the next time you come in on the command prompt, let me just exit out of this one. I don't need it. This other command prompt that is here, it will just eventually, when you shutdown completes, it will close it. So notice that this will come out saying that your local host port 8080 is power off. And then once you're done with that one, you just say, go ahead, log out. And here it says connecting to the kernel. This was trying to restore the connection, but I don't need it. So you can also do a control C here and exit it and then close this window and then say, I just don't want any changes or anything. I'm gonna just say cancel and dismiss and then close this one. So I'm done with it. Thanks for watching. I hope you go to the videos and just subscribe to the channel so you get all the details as soon as I post it. Have a nice one. God bless you all. Take care.